In this lesson, we'll explore some common idioms. You'll learn their meanings and how to use them in everyday conversations. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand and use these idioms. You'll be able to express yourself more clearly. You'll also understand native English speakers better. Let's begin. Our first idiom is to wake up. It means to stop sleeping and become alert. For example, I wake up early every morning. This means you open your eyes and start your day early. Now let's compare wake up with get up. While both relate to starting the day, get up implies physically getting out of bed. For instance, I woke up at 7 a.m., but I didn't get up until 7:30 a.m. This means you stopped sleeping at 7 a.m., but you stayed in bed for another 30 minutes. These idioms demonstrate the subtle differences in how we describe our daily routines. Next, let's explore the idiom to be in charge of. This means to have responsibility for something or someone. For example, Sarah is in charge of the marketing department. This means Sarah leads and makes decisions for the marketing team. Moving on, the idiom as soon as indicates that something will happen immediately after another event. For instance, I'll call you as soon as I get home. This means the call will be made immediately upon arriving home. These idioms illustrate how we express responsibility and time in our daily lives. Let's move on to another important aspect of communication: staying connected. Section 4. Time flies when you're having fun. The idiom to get in touch with means to contact someone. For example, I need to get in touch with my lawyer. This means you need to contact your lawyer. You might call, email, or send a letter. Let's talk about to have a good time. This idiom means to enjoy yourself. We had a good time at the party. This means you enjoyed yourself at the party. You might have danced, talked to friends, or listened to music. Now imagine time passing quickly while having fun. That's where our next idiom comes in. Section 5. Cutting back and enjoying the moment. In no time means very quickly. I'll be ready in no time. This means you'll be ready very soon. You can emphasize this by adding it all. I'll be ready in no time at all. Let's move on to cut down on and to cut back on. These idioms mean to reduce something. For example, the doctor told me to cut down on sugar. This means you should consume less sugar. Similarly, the company is cutting back on expenses. This means the company is reducing its spending. They might reduce travel costs or delay new hires. Section 6. From habit to repetition, mastering idiomatic expressions. Have you ever been to an event with many people? You can describe this with the idiom quite a few. This means a fairly large number. For example, quite a few people attended the concert. This means the concert had a large audience. Finally, let's explore the differences between used to be used to, and to get used to. Used to describes something you did regularly in the past but don't do anymore. I used to live in New York City. This means you lived in New York City but you don't live there now. To be used to means to be accustomed to something. For example, I am used to the noise. This means the noise doesn't bother you. You're familiar with it. To get used to means to become accustomed to something. It took me a while to get used to the spicy food. This means you gradually became comfortable eating spicy food. And lastly, we have back and forth, which describes a repetitive movement or discussion. Imagine playing tennis. The ball went back and forth across the net. This shows the ball moving repeatedly from one side to the other during the game. Congratulations! You've learned some new idioms today. Remember, practice makes perfect. Use these idioms in your everyday conversations. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you use them, the more natural they will become. Keep learning and have fun with English.